How is it going, fans? In this week's episode of The Enthusiast, we are having some of the best Phantom content. In this week's episode of The Enthusiast, we are talking about, and it is our grand finale this week. It is our last episode of The Enthusiasts, the second season, and today we're going to be having a look at some of the latest Phantom news that is going around the globe. And we start off with that there's going to be a new 2023 Phantom calendars and diaries are coming from Malon Publishing, and they absolutely look fantastic. And in this week's Few Publications news, we have on the 8th of December, Few Publications will be releasing their last regular issue for the 2022, basically for 2022, and then we'll be getting into the last issue of the year, which will be the 2022 Christmas special. It is going to be such a great year to cap it all off, and it's also going to be such a great year to just finish on a high and finish with the Phantom comic, the Christmas special, which a lot of us get excited for. I get excited for. And I think last year in 2021, we had an absolutely amazing cover done by Glenn Lubston. And that was just amazing. And last year in 2021, when the 2021 edition of in my opinion, my best top 10 best Phantom comics by Few Publications in 2021, Glenn Lubston's Christmas special was number one. It was number one. And in the merchandise coming up on this week's show, merchandise news, as I said, the 2023 Phantom calendar and diaries from Mellon are coming out soon. In the creator news this week, Shell Shocked Studio is doing and has been doing an incredible piece of the Phantom / Mr. Walker art this week as a commission for a person that had commissioned that artwork. And we have a new section this week. It is the books for sale section, and the disclaimer for this section is if you would like to purchase any of these books, they will be available on a Phantom group on Facebook, and the group is called the Trader Joe's General Store for Phantom Collectibles. And in the publisher news, Egmont is going to be releasing a new Phantom Men comic book, and we're also going to be featuring I've picked out some of the comics from my collection, and I've got some rippers here and some old stuff here and some vintage and some hard books. I've got some stuff from the last couple of years, and it's just going to be such a great way to be looking at some of the comic books from my Phantom collection. And it's also going to be, I think, a great way to have sort of a conversation between some of the books. We've also got a limited signed print that was done by Douglas Clawbar, which is he's amazing when he does anything to do with the Phantom. And we're going to be talking about the new news segment is this week. It's the saga of the 21st Phantom rescuing the anti-hero Savannah Devi. And that story this week is going to be getting really, really interesting. And I'm hoping and I'm thinking that the action is going to go up from here. And next up on Next up in the merchandise news, Malon Publishing is now taking pre-orders for the 2023 Phantom calendars and diary. They both have amazing God. When I saw this cover and when I saw this cover for the 2023 Phantom calendars and diaries, they looked so beautiful, and both of those pictures have been are in amazing colored illustrated. They are amazingly colored illustrated pictures of the Mr. Walker, aka the Phantom, and in the dark, not in the dark lighted streets, and the art for the products has been supplied by Jeremy McPherson and his amazing colorist, good old Thomas Mason. You're doing a great job, Thomas, and you're doing a great job, Jeremy McPherson. And everyone knows that you do magnificent art, and the 2023 Phantom calendars and diaries are a subject of your art, and it's just been amazing to look at, and it was amazing to find out when we heard this news a few weeks ago. And obviously Malon Publishing is now going to be taking pre-orders for the 2023 Phantom calendars and diaries, and as I just said, the art of the products has been supplied by Jeremy McPherson and his amazing colorist Thomas Mason. This week in the creator news, an Australian artist from Sydney that goes by the name on Facebook, Shell Shocked Studio. Yes, Shell Shocked Studio. He's an absolute massive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and it's amazing some of the art that he's doing, and it's amazing some of the art that he's putting onto caps and onto like day-to-day things that normal people and general people wouldn't even think about. It's amazing what he's doing, and he has done a pretty cool picture of the Phantom and Mr. Walker, and now we're going to be showing it right now on this live stream. Just amazing art, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about with Shell Shocked Studios absolutely killing it with this artwork is, yes, it's the Phantom, and yes, it is it is his other costumed hero, his detective partner, his crime to stop all crimes, and his a person that stops all crimes from happening. Yes, it is Mr. Walker. Oh yes, I love this artwork, and it also takes me back to when Anthony Spade was doing his. Well, he did a cover. Anthony Spade did a cover. Anthony Spade did a cover, I think, for the few publications on the Phantom, and it was published in 2021. And it was published in 2021, and that was those three interconnecting covers, and those three covers by him were some of the best covers that I've seen to date. But one of those covers in particular had a sort of the same design as what Shell Shocked Studio has done here. He's cut the face in half and put one half of the Phantom's face is the Phantom, and the other half being Mr. Walker. It's just a great thing that I'm seeing Shell Shock Studios do, and there's the I think the final artwork. He's got both sides of the Phantom and Mr. Walker on a skull throne, and it is just amazing what I've just seen And congratulations to Adrian and the team at Shell Shock Studios. And now let's have a look at this video, hey? So yeah, good, very, very good, well edited video. I'm just going to say that right there. It's a great thing that I'm seeing. Obviously, it's a great thing that we're seeing local artists in Australia and all over the globe basically making the most of how the Phantom is and the art of the Phantom. Obviously, a long, long time ago, he did the art for the Phantom for 30 years straight, beyond 3 decades. And one of those artists is Seymour Barry. He's an amazing person, an even better artist, and an even better person. And since his I think since his 30-year run on the Phantom, a lot of people have been influenced in a lot of ways with how he conducted his art and how he drew the pictures. And it's just amazing thing that we're seeing with local Australian artists and local and international artists still actually drawing the Phantom. And if you'd like to know more about Shell Shock Studio, you can contact him via his email is adrian at shellshockstudio.com, and he has a linked tree thing over there, and that's basically it. So, congratulations to Adrian Nikita for this amazing piece of artwork that you were making and have been. Well, I saw it last week, so congratulations to you for making this piece of art and even better, making it as a commission. Thank you. And in the book sales section this week, we have a disclaimer, as I said at the start of this video or live stream. We have a disclaimer. If you would like to purchase these books, they will be available on the Phantom Group on Facebook at a Phantom Group on Facebook, and the group is called the Trader Joe's General Store for Phantom Collectibles. And this week we have a couple of products that have been, or comics that people are selling on there. And this week the Phantom Facebook group, Trader Joe's General Store for Phantom Collectibles, has some great comics for sale by some of the group members on there, and it includes Harry Brady. Harry Brady has some amazing Moonstone books for sale on the group, which includes The Ghost Killer. Fans can purchase that book for $10, $10 postage Australia wide, and there are 14 copies available, supposedly 14 copies available, and you can contact and visit this Phantom group, and you'll probably see Harry Brady at the top of that group, because obviously he created a lot of listings, and he also has a model kit for the Phantom and a skull thrown in with the model kit or inside the model kit of the Phantom, and that's going for $15 postage Australia wide. The next couple of things that are going up for sale, and they are on sale right now, is that Jimmy James on the Phantom Facebook group. If you don't know where to find great Phantom products and great Phantom comics that have been sold by group members on the group, you can always, I think, sometimes that on the other group Phantom groups, you can sort of create a post and see if people are wanting to sell stuff, and then people will then direct you to this Phantom group, which is like a buy, swap, and trade sort of group, and Jimmy James has a one of a kind original Phantom Sunday art page, and he's selling it for USD 9,000, which comes in around, I think, 13,000 Australian dollars or something. And I think Jimmy James, he is located in America, so you'd probably have to get it shipped over here, over into Australia if you wanted to buy it from Australia. And the original art page features art from the first Phantom Daily artist, Ray Moore, and the the Sunday art page, as I'm talking about it right now, comes from the 1947 Sunday page, and it comes from the 1947 Sunday page. And I think when Ray Moore was doing his art and doing the Sundays for the Phantom on the Sunday Phantom stories, I think it would have been, if this was published, if this art was made in, I think, 1947, as the post and on the group says, Ray Moore would have only been probably a couple of years away, or a year or two away from stepping down from creating Phantom Sunday art pages for one, and just stepping down as a whole. And I think it might have been after 1949 or just before the 50s is when Wilson McCoy, I think, really took the Phantom. And I think with the Phantom and Wilson McCoy and what he did with the Phantom during, I think, from his run was from, I think, the early 40s when he was running as a assistant to, I think, Ray Moore. And then in the 40s you obviously had the World War II happening, and I think Wilson McCoy started to, like, I think eventually more and more stories came to him, because I think Ray Moore was suffering from, as a thing that we call PS post traumatic distress disorder, and it's a very bad thing, that post traumatic stress disorder. I've never had in contact with it, but from the people and the stories that have been, and the articles that have been published around it, it's I think it's a very bad thing, and it can, I think, cause a fair bit of, well, it causes a lot of stress. Basically, it's a post traumatic stress disorder, and I think that's what Ray Moore was going through after he came back from the World War Two, because World War Two, I think, that finished up in 1945, and then we still had bits and pieces still going on after the war was done in, I think, London. Yeah, because I think it's after 1945. I think it's just a little bit after that, or 1944. It's just a little bit after that 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 I people will still was still doing. People were still, like, fighting, and I think it may have ended in not in London. It may not have ended in London after 1945. It may have ended before that, but I think Australia and a few of the countries in the southern hemisphere still were feeling the impact of it, and they still were getting a little bit bombarded a little bit. But I think with when Ray Moore came back onto the daily script, they, I think, put him onto the Sunday pages, and obviously this Sunday art page that Jimmy James is selling is from 1947, and it also comes with a certificate of an authenticity as well, and it was originally owned by Elizabeth Falk, which, if you didn't know, she had direct contact with Lee Falk, which is pretty big in any realm of comic book history, and it's a pretty big in the Phantom's history as in general. This week in the publisher news, Phantom Men number 25 and 26 comes out in the next few weeks, and the cover for the book looks beyond gorgeous. The cover has been done by Hendrik Salstrom, and if you didn't recognize the Phantom on that thumbnail that I put together today, well, yeah, it's this story. This story that's coming out next features Julie, the female Phantom, and she is visiting New Zealand. New Zealand. It is going to be great. It's a story done by David Bishop, and it's going to be great. And now we're going to be looking at some comic books from my Phantom collection. Yes, we're going to have a look at some, and to start off with, we're going to be going through and looking at, well, the first thing we're looking at is that we have a limited edition signed print that was done by Douglas Clawbar, and it's numbered 62 out of 200, and it's just a great piece. I think this was done for the diary or the calendar for the 2021 series, the 2021 editions from Malin Publishing. But a great looking piece of art, and again, it's numbered 62 out of 200. We have a book, and that is another story that features Keith Cato, and it's The Return of the Singh Brotherhood, another all-Australian production. Great looking book. It's in fairly good condition, despite myself picking it up at a good old Lions Book Fair. But that Lions Book Fair, they were so damn good to go to. It was so big, and yes, they had more than 20 odd Phantom comics, and most of those came home with myself. Came home with Phantom Cave reviews. Okay, the next one we're going to be having a look at is a book that was to do with, I think, one of the annuals. It is a tribute to Lee Falk, and it's signed by the one and only, the guy that we were talking about just before, Seymour Barry. Great looking book, and a tribute to Lee Falk, and I think that was published during the Jim Shepard era. Next book we're going to have a look at is The Phantom Encyclopedia. It was first published in 2007. Another great looking book, and yes, it's in very good nick. Okay, I got a couple of special ones for you right now. It's issue number 300, yes, 381. It's not in too bad shape, but it's got some pieces on the cover removed. It's got a couple of good old pen strokes, and it's in not great condition, but it's still early Phantom, and it's still a good comic. Still a good comic to have in your collection, I think, because it means that you've actually got a early Phantom, and you can look for it if you want to without breaking all the pages off. Another story we have is number 376, if you can see it. Number 376. Next one is number 341. We have number 349, if you can see it. 349. I forgot what number this was, but half of its cover has been removed. And most of these old Phantoms, they came from a guy that's on Facebook, and he's a Phantom fan too. He's a Phantom fan, a die-hard Phantom fan, and that person that sent some of these comic books to me is Sam Allen, which great person. He also sells a few of his books on the Trader Joe's general store for Phantom collectibles. Okay, so we've got a book that is number 93, few number 93, and it is not in great shape, but the spine and the story to the middle half of the book is still intact, and it's still a great book, and I still love it because it's still blatantly see you can still blatantly see what the cover is about. It's about, I think, the story about the Thuggies. I think it was published in 1940s or 50s. Okay, we've got a book that is number 484. It for some reason says this book is not returnable. Do not return this book. Okay, got the message. Okay, the next one we've got a copy, a publication of Phantom Goes to War. Great looking book. I've got a few of those copies of those stories. Probably one of the reasons why I didn't really read its latest publication, 2019 Phantom Annual. So we have 3 stories: The Witch Hunt, The Power of Evil, and a Don Newton special. Another great looking book in quite alright condition, considering that it's got spine ticks on the spine. We've got another old book, and it's a special double number from the late 1980s. We've got the Untold Story of the Enden, number 931. Another great looking book. I've got 2 copies of this. First one is the better copy. It includes 3 complete Phantom classics: The Little Toma, Prisoner of the Himalayas, and Adventure in the Glaciers. Another great looking book. The second one, however, has, I think, a couple of cigarette butt markings on it. Another still good looking book. It's got a little bit of a spine curl over, but still a great looking book. But this one is definitely in better condition. This book is very, very good. If you find it, keep it, because it has the 3 complete Phantom classics: The Little Toma, The Prisoner of the Himalayas, and The Adventure in Glaciers. We've got 478. That was 478. Yeah, 448. Another book from Sam Allen. We've got a very, very mint copy. Has only a spine tick, but it's a mint copy of number 774. Then we've got the second part to the Pandora's Box. Good story. I've got both publications of that book. The one that was done in 1989, and the recent one that was published, I think, in 2014 or 2015 or 2016. It was when, I think, Judith Shepherd was doing her run. We have a 70th anniversary special, and it's a sketch cover by good old Matt Kime. We've got the wedding special. I hold this book very, very dear to my heart. I love it. I've got 2 copies of this book. And it's just such a good book. It has every single story nearly leading up to the Phantom's wedding. This was, I think, the 40th wedding anniversary, so it has every single story leading up to the Phantom's wedding. And then it also has the main wedding story, which I think was it was published in 1977. And I think in the last couple of weeks, Chronicle Chamber did a post and on this, and it was celebrating their 45th anniversary. And it's just a great looking book. We've got the Bushfire Appeal book by good old Chronicle, the guys at Chronicle Chamber. Run through these pretty quick. We've got issue 4 from Lightning Strike Comics. Giant Size Phantom number 2. That was published, I think, in 2017. We've got the last issue of the Phantom's World. Came out last year or the year before. I've got the complete series that was published by the Budget Book series. I had one of the books, and then Sam Allen sent me all 4 of them, which now I have a double up of number 4. Number 4? Yeah, number 4. So, yeah, and now we're going to be talking about the latest, newest news segment. This week we're having a news segment surrounding the saga of the 21st Phantom rescuing the anti-hero in Savannah, Devi. So this week in the Phantom Daily Script, on Wednesday of last week, the Phantom tricks 2 guards outside the prison that is Graveland's prison, and on Thursday, he tricks them with the flares he places down on the ground that we saw a few days earlier, and then on the Thursday he gets the guards and he brings their 2 heads together, smash, and then they are not concussed. Let me tell you that they're not concussed, but he leaves a memory of the people meeting the Phantom, the ghost who walks, the man who cannot die. Yes, that's right. The action is in full swing, head banging motion right at the back of the head, and the use of the old jungle saying is back at it. The Phantom is rough on roughnecks. The Phantom tells the guards to drive calmly, and the guards get him into the prison. Those guards are then tied up, and the Phantom is now inside the prison. As I said in the 10th episode of the Enthusiast, that was published on, I think, Sunday. If you haven't watched the 10th episode of The Enthusiast, it's a must-see watch. It's a very big featured episode, and it goes for, I think, 38 minutes, and it's such a great video. I put all my time into it. I put all the effort into it, and it even there's an interview with the guys. There's an interview with the guys at Wilfrick Media, which is just awesome. It was great talking to them. And if you would like to follow us on our socials, you can do that you can follow us on our socials at Instagram at Phantom Cave Reviews and on Facebook at Phantom Cave. And if you would like to subscribe to the Phantom Cave Reviews channel, you can do so if you want to. What did you think of the second season of The Enthusiast? And if you have any ideas of any future segments or series or just things that I can talk about, comment them down below, and I will take them into consideration when I start the third season of The Enthusiast, which will be into the new year, and it's going to be a great season. It's going to be filled with all the great things that we do at Phantom Cave Reviews. And as always, you know what I'm about to say. As always, keep Phantom Caving, keep being fans and enjoying our love of the Phantom, enjoying our love of the character, and you will see me on another video potentially coming up to Christmas. See yous, and we'll catch yous. And as always, subscribe, like if you like the video if you want to, if you liked it. And as always, keep Phantom Caving, and I'll see you next time. Good job. It's frozen. $36.50. $37.19. Just let it catch up on you. Would I like to end the broadcast? Yes. End.